Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another Vinny Good Production video with your host BNSF 6951, aka Cousin Vinny. Anyhow, if you guys are interested in watching drum op sessions on my P-Vine sub, or if you guys like watching rail painting videos, or if you guys like watching scratch building videos, or if you just want to hang out on a Friday night with Cousin Vinny, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video or I make an announcement for a live stream. Also, share this video on other model railroad forums such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so on. I hope to see you guys on my channel. Talk to you guys later. Let's get on with the movie. Alright guys, you probably are saying, what's this guy doing now? Anyhow, the way I had it originally designed this, it actually wasn't going to work out for me, so I had to come up with a different way. One of the reasons because each one of these guys, oops, let me get you out of here. Oh, that's the one I got glued in. Each one of these guys, I thought I had measured correctly, but I didn't, so I had to even them all up. And because I shortened them down so much, I had to make some modifications to the foundation itself. But anyhow, what I'm doing now is, this is going to be the back wall. As I told you guys, it's going to have cut out at each end. The back wall itself, the rear elevation wall will be a full wall back here, and then the front wall, which is this down here, will be a half wall to match this right here. Anyhow, to give this a little bit more detail, all these X's in here, they will be kind of like cross bracing between each one of the columns and roof supports right there. So, but instead of gluing it to the roof, the columns and roof supports, I'm going to glue it to the actual wall, and when everything is in place, it'll give the illusion that they are going from one column to the other column. So that's my intention anyhow. So with all that being said, all these parts need to get their paint jobs because I need to put some of this together to figure out how I'm going to support the rails for the overhead crane. Anyhow, so I'm going to get off and get some of this painted. I'm going to wait till it warms up a little bit more this afternoon, and then go ahead and get this interior paint and an exterior paint and the paint for these guys right here. And so you guys will get an idea of what this is going to look like when it's completed. Anyhow, let me get going on that and we'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, it's about time I get back on Gary Weiss's build. The reason why it was taking me so long to do this is because I subcontracted out some of my stuff to John Danzillo. Now originally I made my own steel supports, but I didn't like the way they were coming out. I couldn't get everything exactly right, even on each side. So I hired John to do these steel structures for me on his 3D printer. And this is what he did. Now I already painted this, and this is the color I'm going to paint all the steel in this building because I think it's a pretty good color for it. Anyhow, with that being said, this is the first plastic mock-up of this building. I don't think I'm going to have a roof on it, only because of the crane that's going to be in there, as you can see. And as you can see, there's 7 of these, including this one here, that will go up front like that. Let me see if I can get that in there real quick. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Oops. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Now, I'm not quite sure if I want to put any steel, like the siding on the front here. I think it looks pretty cool open like that. And I will admit that it's probably the wrong type of building to be in Kansas, to be open like I have it. but I just think it's a little bit different from everything I've built with Gary. And so I went with an open building concept. And what I mean by that is this entire side will be open. So you'll be able to see all the detail in there, and you'll be able to get one track inside of there, and then a couple of trucks if he wants to. But anyhow, I'm going to continue on this. So right now what I need to do is get all of these guys painted up. And there's a little bit of ridges on the top of here, and I don't think I'm going to worry about that. I'm just going to, I'll just say that it's the weld places for the cross beams that go across here, because I tried sanding this, and it's pretty tough to sand this down. Anyhow, with all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and shut this, turn the camera off right now, and pull all these guys out of here, and then I'm going to start building the stanchions for the crane. And I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that. That's going to be definitely something I'm going to wing. Anyhow, we'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, now that you've seen the mock-up on this, I have a little bit, actually a lot of work to be doing here. On the top of these stanchions that John had built me, there are these little ridges up on the top here that need to get sanded down. I don't know if you guys are going to see these. See if I can get one out real quick. Yeah. But anyhow, see if I can get you a better shot of that. And it's probably a normal thing, but anyhow, you can hear that. Well, all that needs to get sanded down before I painted it. And like I said previously, that this is the color I like for the steel. So we're going to go ahead and take all of this apart and start doing these things. And I also, let's see, I'll put this back on the foundation where it's supposed to be. When I cut this piece out here, I made a mistake. Yes, I do make mistakes. I should have cut it to go all the way down to the foundation floor. So I went ahead and cut a new piece out, and now it'll go all the way down to the floor like I wanted it to. And this piece here, I'll cut out for the front. So anyhow, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. Alright guys and gals, what we're going to do now, to start with, is we're going to sand down this edge on here that's got these little ripples in it and get them smooth. And then after we do that, we'll go ahead and paint these up, and then I'll show you how we're going to support the crane. So with all that being said, let's get going with this. So I'm using 100 grit sandpaper, and we're just going to lay it down here flat and just commence to do this. Alright guys, so what I did was, and this was the first one, I got most of that sanded down here pretty good. And then I also took my file or sanding stick, whatever you want to call it, and I gave the front surface and the rear surface a little bit going over also. So with all that being said, I got 5 more of these to do, and then we'll go ahead and paint them. So I'm not going to show you all that, but I'll go ahead and continue on this, and we'll see where the progress takes us. Alright guys, we're going to move on to the next step while the paint dries on my steel structures. But I'm going to go ahead and build a very simple deal to hold up the crane. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make these little L brackets, and what they're going to do is they're going to sit up against this concrete foundation right here. And they're going to sit like that, and they're all exactly the same. So when I lay my, I don't even have a piece out here to show you guys. Then I'm going to lay an I-beam across all of these, and that's what's going to support the crane. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to use my cutting board, the lines on my cutting board, and I'm assuming that they are 90-degree angles. And so I got a piece of wax paper down here so it doesn't stick to the dealie here. Back this guy up. There we go. you're good over there, right? Alright. So, what I'm going to do is, actually I should have a straight edge over here, but I don't have a straight edge that I can use right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the lines here, and we're just going to do this right here like that, and just take this little guy and put him there like that, and make a whole bunch of these. Anyhow, I'm not going to bore you with how it's done. I'll just go ahead and do it, and I'll bring it back when they're done. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Alright guys, as I was showing you in my previous clip, I was making these little, L bracket dealing bobbers here. Anyhow, what I did was I joined them all together using this number 291 angle, and I put it along the entire strip here. And then on the top, I used this number 272 I-beam. And the reason why I use that 272 I-beam is because this is the crane right here, and you can see that this I-beam right here fits right in that groove perfectly that John provided for me. And you can see that it will slide very nicely on here. Anyhow, as you can see, I got the stanchions there, and I got my I-beams done. Of course, this is not glued down yet because it still needs to get painted. But we put one on there, put one on there, and look at that. Now there's a couple of high spots in here that I need to sand down yet, but if we take this and gently, see, I've got a high spot right there, high spot right there. Anyhow, it'll float the entire building. And also, I got all my stanchions all painted up, as you can see. And so this building is working pretty well so far. So what we're going to do now is continue on my crane structure here. We're going to repaint the foundation to a lighter gray. The crane will get painted yellow, and we'll go from there. So with all that being said, hold on, before we do that, we got this. I think I showed you guys all of this, but this is the color. This would be the back wall. And also, yeah, this would be the back wall. This will be one side elevation, which would be the back, because this is going to go all the way down to the floor. And this will be the front. We'll go on here, like that. And this is the other side wall. Now the other side wall is going to get, because this will be facing the aisle, so this will be getting this. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this, and we'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, as I continue working on this project for Gary Weiss, you guys noticed when I showed this yesterday that it looked pretty flimsy if you ask me. So, what I am going to be doing is, I'm going to get you in here a little bit better, is I'm going to be adding, oops, hold on, there you go. I'm going to be adding these supports here, and they are glued, right now they are glued to the stanchion here, but they are not glued here yet. When I install these guys, oops, I guess I should back you out now, huh? So when I install these guys, like this, it will get secured down here at the bottom also, and that will give the support for the crane a lot of rigidity. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and continue on this, and we'll see how it goes from here. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in a little while. Alright guys, my previous clips I was showing you how I was doing all of these angles down here. Just a little bit of information. Number one, I made a template, so all I have to do is take this and lay it on top of the I-beam and then just cut it down to size, and every one has come out perfect so far. Anyhow, another piece of information I have is because these I-beams, let's see if you guys can see this, have very little gluing area on either side. I do is I take this number 122 styrene strip, and it's 20 thousandths by 40 thousandths, and what I do is I'll put a little piece inside of there like that, glue it in place, and then when I glue it to the structure, it has a lot more gluing surface. And I will do the same on the bottom, so it has good gluing surface when I get to that point. Anyhow, just to let you know how I do some of this stuff. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and finish these up and possibly do the other side, and then we'll call this video good for part 1. So anyhow, stay tuned and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but right there is just all I put, this little bit of section, and just so it gives me enough gluing space to put it on the posts that are there. And also, what these are going to do, they're going to allow me to be able to make sure that each one of these is plumb and square. So yeah, so it's going to be like a little bit of an adjustment. So anyhow, as you can see, I'm almost done with this side. If I turn it around, maybe you can see that. This is the last one for this side, and then I'll start on the other side. Alright, be back in a little bit. Alright guys, as you can see, I have the substructure for Gary Weiss's build, and as I was doing these guys right here, I came across a situation. And the situation is, this piece here is approximately 3 feet, 3 scale feet. And so if I left it like that, then there would be a 3-foot drop off before they can get into the storage area. So as you can see, I already started to build a frame. Oops, get down there, you. This has not been attached yet, and I have not started this side yet because I need to get this figured out and straightened out before I go any further. Anyhow, this is going to be the end of this video because first of all, it's already about 15 or 16 minutes long, and I'm trying to keep it under 20 minutes. I will go ahead, and in the next video I will show you how I will overcome this little problem that I have here, which is because the floor has to be raised up and I made the stanchions all the way down to the bottom, I have to overcome the problem of how I'm going to go ahead and fit things in there without totally redoing everything. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys and gals like this part of part 1 of Gary's build. And as always, your questions, comments, inputs, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all, folks. BNSF 6951 and Cousin Jenny out.